Hyundai welcomes you to this video-based training module. The module will familiarize you with the basics of multimeter and its usage. Multimeter is an electronic instrument used to measure voltage, current and resistance. It can also be used to diagnose electrical circuits for problems such as open circuit, unwanted resistance or current drain in a circuit. Multimeter can be analog or digital. Usually, digital multimeter or DMM is used in workshops. Multimeter sockets. There are 3 different sockets to which the test leads are connected while taking the measurements with the help of multimeter. The connection depends upon the type of measurement to be taken. The socket marked COM is common for all measurements and the black test lead is connected to this socket. To measure voltage, resistance and small amount of current up to 200 milliamperes, the red test lead is connected to the socket marked with the sign volt, ohm and milliampere. To measure high amount of current up to 10 ampere, the red test lead is connected to the socket marked with the sign 10 ampere. Precautions before using multimeter. The test lead's connection to the circuit depends upon the type of measurement to be taken, that is voltage, resistance or current. To start the measurement, select voltage, resistance or current by rotating the selector switch to the corresponding indication on the multimeter. After selecting the measurement type, the selector switch should be brought against correct measuring range. In case of doubt for the value of measurement, select the maximum range value initially and take the reading. After this, select a lower range corresponding to the measured value and repeat the measurement to obtain accurate reading. When measuring voltage, select the correct type of voltage, that is AC or DC as applicable. Select a range which is sufficient to display the measured quantity. Selecting a low range can cause damage to the multimeter. Measuring voltage. To measure voltage by the multimeter, rotate the selector switch to AC or DC voltage and select appropriate range. Connect the multimeter in parallel, that is, the positive or red test lead to the positive terminal of the voltage source and the negative or black test lead to the negative terminal of the voltage source. For example, the multimeter will display a voltage of 12.6 volt when connected across a fully charged battery. Multimeter can also be used to measure the voltage across complete circuit and across its individual components. When measuring voltage across any specific component, connect the red test lead to positive side of circuit and black test lead to negative side of circuit across the component. Measuring current. To measure current by the multimeter, rotate the selector switch to AC or DC current and select appropriate range. Connect the multimeter in series after disconnecting the circuit. The multimeter will display the current flowing through the circuit. In case of wrong polarity, a negative sign will be displayed in the multimeter. Measuring resistance. To measure resistance by the multimeter, rotate the selector switch to resistance and select appropriate range. Disconnect the component, for example, the coupler across which resistance needs to be measured. During resistance measurement, multimeter supplies a constant voltage to the resistor through its internal battery. No current should be flowing through the resistor or circuit while measuring resistance, as this can damage the multimeter. While measuring a resistance, which is part of a complex circuit, it should be removed or isolated. If not done, the reading may be inaccurate due to presence of other resistors in the circuit. Diagnosing open series circuit. In an open series circuit, there is no voltage drop across the resistor as the path between the positive and negative terminals of the power source is broken and no current flows in the circuit. Multimeter can be used to find break in the circuit. Place the negative or black test lead of the multimeter on ground or negative terminal of the battery and place the positive or red test lead on different points in the circuit. Move the red test lead from positive to negative terminal. The break point will be between the last point where the voltage reading is 12 volt and the first point where the voltage reading is 0 volt. Diagnosing unwanted resistance in series circuit. Due to loose connections or corrosion and carbon deposits, there may be an unwanted resistance in circuit. To find this unwanted resistance with the help of multimeter, place the negative or black test lead of the multimeter on ground or negative terminal of the battery and place the positive or red test lead on different points in the circuit. Move the red test lead from positive to negative terminal. The high resistance point will be between the last point where the voltage reading is 12 volt and the first point where the voltage reading is very low. Diagnosing current drain in series circuit. Current drain from the battery may occur due to unwanted short circuit to the ground. This discharges the battery after some time, even when ignition is off. To diagnose the current drain with a multimeter, turn off ignition and all the accessories. Disconnect the battery positive terminal. Connect the multimeter in series between battery cable and battery terminal as illustrated. In case of current drain, the multimeter will show current flow. A reading of more than 0.05 to 0.1 ampere indicates current drain. To find the source of current drain, remove fuse box cover and then remove fuse one by one from the fuse box. If the current flow stops by a fuse removal, the circuit controlled by that fuse is faulty. Install fuse and fuse box cover back after diagnosis. If the fault is not diagnosed by pulling out fuses one by one, disconnect circuits which are connected directly to the battery. For example, alternator field coil, starter solenoid, theft alarm system, etc. This completes the module on basics of multimeter and its usage.